This video is the first part of several videos that will review the basic and advanced operations of the Zoll X Series Monitor, but first we're going to go over the buttons. The power button is located on the top of the unit, so let's go ahead and turn it on. You will notice the visual alarm indicators will flash on and off, and they're also used to indicate patient or equipment alert and data transfer. Our monitor powers up in AED mode, so I want to change it into manual mode, or it will start asking me to do CPR. So I'm just going to quickly come down to manual mode and turn that off. So up here is the RFU indicator. It shows the status of the unit based on its most recent readiness check, which for ours it happens at every time we turn it on. If you see the black blob, the unit is okay. If you see the red circle with a line through it, then something is wrong with the unit and you should probably get it serviced if you can't figure it out yourself. The silence reset button will silence the current alarm tone for 90 seconds. This is the display or home button. It allows the user to choose 3 different display modes, and it also functions as a home button while you're in a menu. These arrows here and the spot button are the navigation keys. They allow you to navigate through menus, while the spot button lets you select what is highlighted. The snapshot button, which is the picture of the camera, records a 24 seconds of numeric and waveform data. And then we have the NIBP button, which starts and stops an NIB measurement. Imagine that. The shock button illuminates when you wish to discharge the defibrillator. The charge button charges the defibrillator to the selected energy. The energy select button controls the level of defibrillation. Analyze displays in the manual mode only. This lets the monitor decide if a rhythm is a shockable rhythm. And the pacer button displays the settings window to start and stop pacing activity, or if you want to change the rate, the output, or mode settings. Now down here we have the battery charge LED, which indicates the battery status, and the auxiliary power LED, which illuminates when the unit is plugged into a power source. And finally, we have Zoll's favorite 7 quick access keys. This first key is the lead key. It selects the input source for the first waveform. And you notice that we are on pads currently. The 12 lead displays the 12 lead screen. CO2 turns CO2 off and on. The RX button is the treatment button and allows you to add treatments to the patient record, such as, when you gave them oxygen or when you gave morphine. Sync activates the synchronized cardioversion mode. This is the print button, which starts or stops the screen printing. And then we have the arrow, which brings you to the second level of keys. Up here we have the brightness button, which changes the brightness of the screen. Look at that. Here we have the alarm button, which lets you set the alarm limits. Log opens the log control panel. And finally we have the settings button, which allows you to configure several settings. So I'll go ahead and bring it back to the first set of access keys. These quick access keys are standard in the home screen, but note that they will change as you navigate through the menus. And you may see those different screens in the next couple videos. On the monitor screen, we have several different icons and numbers, which are fairly easy to understand, but we're just going to go quickly through them. SpO2, respirations when you are monitoring CO2, NIBP, and heart rate. You notice that we are in our pads. Even says pads up there. If I go back, remember us talking about 1, 2, 3, we can change this pads to 1 if we wanted to. Our patient is in asystole, look at that. Up here we have date and the time. Right now we are in adult mode, which we could easily change if we wanted to put it into pediatric mode, but we'll leave it in adult. Our next line is our wireless. There's our wireless menu. Our battery, and if you can't remember the icons for the battery, if you select it, it'll tell you the different icons. And lastly, our time. It tells us we've been on the monitor for about 26 minutes. Okay, so on the left side of the monitor, you see that you have several connections. This one at the bottom is actually the CO2 exhaust, so you don't really need to worry about that. Our CO2 connector goes in right here. It's through the sliding door. The orange tab just kind of turns and twists in there. We have our NIBP cord, our SpO2 cord, and our EKG cord for the leads. And back here, you'll notice our printer. It's a little different from previous Zoll monitors because it comes in a roll. Now on the right side of the monitor, we have a couple more connections. Here is our wireless USB device so that we can transmit EKGs. Back here you'll notice the cord for our pads, which is right here. And there are a couple extra connections, the MFC and temperature and the intravascular blood pressure monitoring, which we don't use, so we don't need to worry about those. The battery is located on the back of the monitor. To get it out, you just lift up on this gray tab and slide it out. If you want to check the battery status, you can just push the button and notice that we're low. But if you want to put the battery back, same movement, it just slides in.